I'm here with Evan Draim of Alexandria, Virginia, the youngest delegate here. You're getting a lot of attention for that. You glad to be here?
I'm very glad to be here. I think that the media attention focused on me is really because, I'm the youngest delegate. I'm representing my peers back home, the teenagers who couldn't come to this convention. I'm trying to represent their voice and their concerns to the media here, and I think it's saying something that the media cares about what young voters are feeling ahead of 2012.
Well, what are those concerns? What's the most important thing for you?
Well, I really think that young voters want to feel that their government is giving them the same freedom and individuality that they're expecting from, their parents and other authority figures at this age. I feel like a lot of the representation and the voice of younger Americans has been stifled by a growing federal bureaucracy. For instance, a lot of the power and autonomy once reserved for local governments, where students are able to have more of a voice in local county board meetings and school board meetings, has been shipped to Washington, D.C. And students can't really afford to fly into Washington every time we want to voice one of our concerns and one of our issues. So it's really important to bring government back to a local level and enfranchise students like myself.
I'm curious because I know that Alexandria is really close. It's a suburb of Washington, D.C. So when you talk about Washington, D.C., it's right next door. Where did you develop these feelings about the size of government? Where does this come from?
Well, I have grandparents who immigrated to this country as displaced persons. I believe that they came here to win for me and my descendants the economic freedom and individual liberty that they lacked in their homeland. And I feel that a larger government really is threatening those fundamental American principles that my grandparents came here for.
What about Mitt Romney, though? Because he connects with young people of your age. One of the issues he's had is connecting with people and getting them to like him as well as support him.
I think that Mitt Romney will be able to connect to young voters because he's talking specifically to the issues that impact my generation. Mitt Romney is obviously very experienced with economic policy and fiscal conservatism as a private sector businessman, and his choice of Paul Ryan adds a really fiscal conservative and champion of fiscal responsibility into the mix as well. And the debt is obviously a really big problem for members of the younger generation.
All right, Evan Draim, the youngest delegate, is going to be your first vote, right?
It will be my first vote, and I'm glad to cast it for Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan and our other Republican candidates in Virginia.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for having me.